in his 6th season now. And Mark, a lot on the line for this team here today. They're trying to get back to the quarterfinals for the first time since 1996, 29 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute. And both these teams, they have their eyes on the prize. The theme in this first round has been rematches, and this is one of them, and Syracuse would love to get that February loss back.
Matt Baracco goes up against John Mullen for Syracuse. And let's see who wins the opening faceoff. Baracco, he tracks it down. And Harvard winning the opening faceoff here today inside the Dome. We've got one more game after this tonight, Cornell and Albany, to cap off our weekend here in the first round.
That faceoff win got the Crimson fans on their feet like they had just scored a goal. And the main reason for that is A, Harvard doesn't face off that well to begin with. B, they lost 28 out of 32 in the earlier season meeting. Fell behind 5-0 to Syracuse, but still found a way to win. This is a Harvard offense that is very potent.
It was a 15-14 win back on February 22nd here inside the Dome. Harvard trying to get off to a good start. The shot, the score, they do right off the bat. And putting it in is Teddy Malone.
The Crimson fans love it. Malone had 5 goals in the win back in February, and here he doesn't waste any time. Nothing fancy, just a bull dodge to the right, soaks a couple checks, hands free, arrow in the quill, and the Crimson are off and running.
Excellent start for Harvard, 30th of the season for Teddy Malone. They win the opening faceoff and they convert. 48 seconds into the contest. Same two at the X, and this time it's Mullen who wins it. Mullen trying to tie it, sails it over the top, and it's going to be backed up by the Orange here.
Yeah, Mullen, terrific face-off man, but he also has a good offensive stick. He's crafty, he can get to the cage, and that is a good start for Harvard, obviously, winning one face-off, getting the first goal of the game. I expect a high-scoring game here, Mike. Very similar, if not almost exact, to that February meeting.
Michael Leo goes down with it for Syracuse, picks it back up, flips it behind the net here for Owen Hiltz. Hiltz rolling around, that's over the top. And Leo's going to put it back in. You told me before the game you thought that this Syracuse team playing with some momentum and confidence right now coming into this game.
Winning the ACC last weekend, it really bolstered their confidence. And there were 2 repeat wins that they had in the ACC over Notre Dame and over Duke. But they were on a 3-game losing streak going into that contest. So to win that tournament with their backs against the wall and not only stamp their ticket to the tournament, but to get a home game, that has really put a lot of wind in their sails.
Goes up top here for Leo. Michael Leo. Nothing there, shot clock's inside of 20. Luke Roa now. Back to Leo, open this time, the kick saved by Graham Stevens. How about that for Harvard in cage?
That was gorgeous. Michael Leo, time, space, that delivery to the far post. And take a look at Stevens with that stop, getting the right foot out. Beautiful job.
And he comes all the way up to midfield and gets it over here for Logan Ipp. And now all of a sudden, Harvard a chance on another offensive possession 2.5 minutes in.
This is my first visit to the JMA Wireless Dome, Mike, since it's been renovated, and I think a big advantage for goaltenders, now the colored seats, the blue and orange seats. Before, when you played here, the ball would blend in to the seats, the white ball, and I think that goaltenders have a better time of it now.
No doubt. Here's a shot that goes wide and over the top that time as Harvard putting the pressure on here early. That was Andrew Perry. On the restart from behind the cage, spinning around and scoring, Harvard's Sam King. And it's 2-0 Crimson.
Harvard is right at home here in the Dome. Sam King, whistle ready, off the end line. It's just a straight sprint to the cage. He gets leverage, he gets top side, and he finds the back of the net. Looked like it glanced off the kisser of Jimmy McCool.
Yeah.
But it finds its way past the goal line, and Harvard up 2-0.
You told me earlier you thought the pressure was on the team that won the first meeting of this series. You know, sometimes when you go play a team second time in a season, it was a 15-14 win for Harvard. They look pretty confident to me here early.
When you think about the identity of the Ivy League here in 2025, it's high scoring, and defense oftentimes can be absent. So Harvard is very comfortable going up into those 15, 16, 17 goal games. Syracuse is as well, and I just thought Syracuse being at home, losing the first meeting, that they would come out and have a little bit more success than they have already.
36th goal of the season for Sam King for Harvard as they go up 2-0 early. Just about 3 minutes and 15 seconds gone by here in the first as Syracuse works it with Peyton Anderson. Anderson up top. Freshman attackman working. Goes back up and finds Spallina. Joey Spallina off the pick behind the net. Now the pass intercepted. Taken away here by Harvard. Excellent defensive play by Charlie Muller.
I'll have to watch the next possession by Syracuse. I don't know if they're shorting Spallina by design or if that was a switch off. But Finn Jensen did a great job of keeping him at bay and causing that turnover. Syracuse loves the skip pass. They love the vision, hot ball movement. Great stick by the Harvard D.
Miles Botkiss controlled it for the moment. Now they go behind the net here and worked around to Sam King. Riley Figueres is on defense on him. He was able to get by him the last time from behind the net. Here's Owen Gaffney. Gaffney gets a step. Gets push, gets it back over to King. King rolls back, doesn't have the angle, back behind the net. Up top here for John Arndt. Arndt gets free, he fires and scores, and it's 3-0 Crimson.
We mentioned Harvard sweating it out on Selection Sunday. Jerry Byrne told us this week, the logical side of your brain said, of course we're going to get in. We had all the metrics over Army, but the emotional side said we might be in trouble. They are proving that they belong. Great job, the redodge, the rollback, and top side again, hands-free. Arndt with the shot, the score. The Crimson are out of the gate blazing.
This is a Harvard team that's hungry. We talked about it. 1996, the last time they went to the quarterfinals of the tournament, and then since then, they've only made the NCAAs. Now this is the fourth time. 2006, when they lost to this Syracuse team in the first round. 2014 and 2022. Now here they are trying to make a play to get back to the quarterfinals for the first time in 29 years.
Look, they've seen all the stuff on social media this week. You know, Army got hosed. Army belongs, Harvard this, Harvard that. They've internalized all that, and they're using it as fuel. They don't think anybody thinks they should be here. And when you have Jerry Byrne, who already has that underdog mentality,
right,
it just galvanizes them even more.
4 shots by Harvard, 3 goals here to get things started in this first quarter.
Remember in the first meeting, Jimmy McCool struggled.
Leo, save made by Stevens, his second of the day.
He's seeing the ball well. We've seen the kick save. There he uses big frame to get down low, body behind his stick, smothers it, clean save, no rebound.
Anything else about this place in here inside the Dome? It's always a topic of conversation when we come play, but you talked about the seats being different. Is there any other things you got to keep mentally when you're in this environment?
Well, they've been here before. You know, they played back in February, so this is not unfamiliar territory. And let's not forget, Harvard fell behind in that game 5-0.
5-0.
And then were able to come back. So there's no unknown jitters for the Crimson coming around because you got to get used to the noise. You have to get used to the surroundings. And look, you're playing indoors, so it's a little bit of a different dynamic.
And now they're going to have to try to play from ahead here, which is obviously a better position to be in as King goes down. And it's going to be scooped up here by the Crimson and Teddy Malone. He's the one that got the scoring started here, 48 seconds into the game. Logan Ipp In the middle, knocked down, loose ball, recovered by Harvard. And getting hit on the shot that time, there was Malone. And it's going to be Crimson possession as King was closest.
And nothing is hit to necessitate a shot clock reset, so under 10 to shoot for Harvard. Illegal screen called against Harvard, so Syracuse gets a much-needed stop on the defensive end.
Let's go, Ryan!
It's a Syracuse team that's 10th in the nation in scoring offense, averaging 13.6 goals per game. Great job of their man-up offense as well. That's also top 10 in the country.
They just got to settle in. They got to get one to drop, and then I think that'll really ease some of the tension, if there is any, on the sideline as Harvard's come out fast.
Low pass that time from Sam English, and an errant one, and it's picked up by Harvard. Here they come again.
Great defense by the Crimson. And you don't see Sam English make those kind of mistakes too often, throwing it at the ankles of his teammate. And this Harvard defense, they've given up a ton, but the combination of Jerry Byrne as defensive coordinator and defensive coach Nick Grill, folks will remember him from the 2021 Maryland team run to the national title. They've come out hungry, and they're executing at a high level.
It was the defender Martin Nelson that picked up that ground ball that got it back for his team here now as it goes over to King, working behind the net. Figueres trying to shut him down. That's stifling defense by Riley Figueres. Great job there. Syracuse going the other direction.
They're long. You can see the length right there. Great turn on the defense, and then the takeaway. Sam King's got to be a little bit more aware. Sam King's a physical dodger. He wants to body you up. But if you get too tight, this long, athletic, rangy Syracuse defense will pick your pocket.
It's what this Harvard team is used to doing this season in terms of causing turnovers and creating havoc. They're first in the nation with almost 12 caused turnovers per game. Ball going to the end line, and it's Harvard possession. Their fans are up and cheering here inside the dome.
They've got the juice early. Syracuse faithful doesn't like it, but again, you look at the size of this Syracuse defense. 48 in white, Michael Grace. 6'5", Billy Dwan, the third, 6'4". Riley Figueres is the runt of the litter at only 6 foot tall.
Jack Spidell now behind the cage, over to King. Substitution as Jackson Green checks in, number 5 in the midfield. He's got it now. Back over to Andrew Perry. Malone. Good patient offense here by Harvard, Mark. Green, they've got time, still 20 seconds on the shot clock. Cortez, over to Perry. Now 15 to shoot. Francisco Cortez.
They look confused. It's almost like they don't know where they want to attack from.
Now time is running down. And ball is in the middle and almost a behind the back shot there by King. The ball is loose, and it's going to be Syracuse possession here.
King throws his body around. He dove on that one. Looked like he tried almost behind the back and hit off of one of the Syracuse players. And while he's supine on the turf, a couple of the Syracuse guys use him as a welcome mat, wiping their feet on him.
And it has been a struggle for Syracuse to start here. This ball picked up by Logan Darren. Harvard on the run. The other way with Jackson Green.
How about the first-time grounders for Harvard? There's English. Takeaway right in the middle of the field. You relax on 15 in white, Sam English. That's going to be the result. He is going to take the ball away from you. He's going to start transition on the other end. As I said a few minutes ago, Matt Abbott, the All-American back in the late 2000s. That is who Sam English reminds a lot of people of.
Talking about number 15 in white here for the Orange. Right now it's in the stick of Wyatt Hoddle as he goes behind the net for Hiltz. Syracuse trying to get on the board here for the first time today. Getting in front, a shot over the top, that time by English. And to put it back in is going to be Hiltz. Hiltz comes off the pick from Hoddle, shoots it, and then hit the side of the cage there. Stevens goes down low again to make the play. So the shot clock gets reset to 60 here. It's right now, right, for Jerry Byrne and this Harvard team coming in. 3-0 lead here.
They were able to win that game after coming off a really tough loss to Colgate at home, where they got throttled and dominated. And you're thinking, okay, Syracuse could maybe score 25 goals in that game. Well, they scored 14, but Harvard scored 15 and walked away with the W.
Right now, ground balls in this game, Harvard 8, Syracuse 4. It's another area that Harvard does well. Here's a shot to score. It's Luke Roa who puts it in for the first time today for Syracuse.
Hard to tell if Harvard elected to play zone out of that timeout, but in any event, they just give way too much cushion to number 8 in white, Luke Roa. You have got to get in his hands almost immediately when he drags across and goes left to left, because that is the end result if you do not get a stick in the gloves. He tattoos the upper 90. Beautifully placed shot from Luke Roa.
Of course, it's Monday morning quarterback as they scored, but I'm wondering if Harvard kind of did Syracuse a favor there, calling a timeout, giving the Syracuse a little bit of a chance to regroup and say, all right, what do we want to do, coming out of this break
I
here?
think Jerry Byrne called that timeout because he wasn't comfortable with the personnel that was stuck on the field. So he wanted to get the right personnel, but again, you can't let Roa. Luke Roa has always been a great time and room shooter. What he has done this year to elevate his game on the run, right or left, he has got incredible velocity, tremendous accuracy. You cannot mess around when 8 is on the run with the ball like that.
Well, you just saw it. 23 goals now in the season for him. Syracuse has it back here with Hiltz. Working around behind the net, Owen Hiltz. Trying to get by the defense of Logan Darren. Anderson, Peyton Anderson, 88 for the Orange. Over to Tyler McCarthy. Now it's back to Hiltz. Feet in the middle, knocked down, inside. Defensive play made there by Finn Leslie for Harvard. Crimson quickly on the run. And a good job bringing it over into the offensive end that time, Charlie Muller.
Great defense by Harvard. Hiltz, not known for his dodging, he's more the finisher. And that time he just stared down his target, Joey Spallina, and got jumped by the Harvard defense. Telegraphed the pass.
Ball's in the stick of Sam King. Gaffney. Owen Gaffney shoots wide right and backed up Jack Spidell.
Syracuse was late getting their 6th defender, a short stick D midi, back into the hole to defend this. Harvard didn't recognize.
Oh, that's off the post there from Spidell.
That's a great look. Great shot. Goalie's best friend, Jimmy McCool's in that regard, was the iron on the 6x6.
Leading goal scorer on this team, 43 goals coming in for number 4 for Harvard. Bouncer on the way. That's no good there by Gaffney. And it'll be Sam King to restart with 1:34 to go in the first quarter. And Jerry Byrne's Harvard team up 3-1.
You can see number 19 in white, Wyatt Hoddle, playing short stick D midfield. That is not an accident. He played short stick D midi last year. This year playing a much more significant role on the offensive end of the field.
King using the body again to try to get in front of Riley Figueres, but it was cleaned up there by Jimmy McCool in goal. And now Syracuse, with just over a minute to go here in the first. Harvard is second best in the nation in their ride, and it shows as opponents are clearing just 74% of the time. Second best in the nation, and Harvard gets it back.
Jerry Byrne telling us this week, when you don't win face-offs, you've got to try to get extra possessions, and their ride is hellacious. You can see the pressure that they put in the front court, but the middle is where they kind of disguise things and make you think that things that are there, they really aren't. And if I'm saying English, you gotta earn your money. You gotta take that ball and you gotta run it over the midfield line. You have got to earn your scratch by taking on 2 attackmen and a short stick D midi to get that ball over the timeline.
That's a really good point, Mark, and he's liked what his team's done this year in that category and what they've done to put themselves in positions to win. Right now, here is Perry. Goes up top, Cortez. Cortez trying to go behind the cage. A wild high pass looking for Spidell with just 9 seconds to go.
This ride, can Syracuse figure it out? They give it to Sam English, and this is where he has to channel Matt Abbott.
We just hoisted all the way down the other end of the field. And
short time.
Yeah, clock's going to expire. Had to do something, but what a job by Harvard here to start off this first quarter.
Great start for the Crimson. Terrific out of the gate, and they have shown that they've come to play.
Malone, King, Arndt with the 3 goals. Luke Rowa's got 1 for Syracuse. We're back with the start of the second from the Dome after this. To the hotel last night in Syracuse, New York, and ready to go through the pregame warm-ups and the game here today.
Well, we were told this week that the university doesn't make any concessions for their student athletes when it comes to exams. And Jerry Burns says he doesn't rock the boat as the head men's lacrosse coach. They call it the Harvard lacrosse experience, and it's all part of the process, the sports, the academics, and Baracco has been a difference maker so far in this game, helping Harvard get that opening possession.
Going up against Mullen here at the faceoff, and it's going to be picked up by his teammate. And the Crimson with a 3-1 lead into the start of the second quarter here.
That was outstanding wing play by Ray Durth, number 10 in gray. An all-Ivy selection at short stick D midfield. Mullen had won that to himself, was about to pick it up, and Durth just slapped his stick in there to knock it out of his path and go and pick up the ground ball. Those are the kind of plays Harvard will have to continue to make to be successful at the faceoff dot.
Here's Perry, Andrew Perry right now for Harvard. We're working around here to the opposite side now for Tenny Malone. Malone off the pick. Malone with some space, trying to dump it down low, and that's going to go out, and that was a pass. It's going to be Syracuse possession.
I think Malone was a little too unselfish. He beat the dodge. Defender tried to go over his head, got right into the middle of the field. That's when you want to uncork it. That's where you want to shoot it.
That's what I thought, too. I mean, he had a good look. You're 100% right, Mark. It's 3-1 still. Crimson just a minute gone by in the second quarter. And Syracuse gets it over, but under heavy duress as Luke Rowa got knocked out of his stick, and Harvard gets it again.
That's too long of a pass. If I'm Rowa, I've got to come up 7 to 10 yards to be an easier path, an easier target. And if you're going to throw it that long, you've got to throw it on a rope. You cannot lollipop that thing in, because that allowed the Harvard defender to gain traction and get to Rowa to create that turnover.
Turnovers are now even at 6 apiece here in this game. And you see the clears.
Well, for Syracuse, it's mostly failed clears. For Harvard, it's poor decisions on the offensive end in the 6x6.
Yeah, 2 for 5 right now on the clear is Syracuse, 40%. A tough angle shot there that time by Spidell, and it'll be Harvard possession here.
So that's a wrinkle that Gary Gate and his staff are going to have to come up with to try to figure out how to clear it, A, and B, how to not to make it such an adventure.
Doesn't the shot clock get reset there or no? I think that's what Harvard is saying, right? It went off the post, and McCool get a piece of it. We're going to talk about it here.
Officials get together to confer. They determine that it didn't. I heard the nick of the pipe, but I don't know if that was McCool banging into it.
Well, coming around here with a shot that time is Sam King.
He is so fast on the restart off the end line. You have got to be whistle ready as a defender when number 7 in gray picks up the ball.
Shot clock is inside 20. It's back over now to John Arndt. Solid defense there by Syracuse. Arndt gives it up. Oh, and another one put in by the Crimson. Look out here, 4-1. Back to a 3-goal advantage.
Teddy Malone, 26 in gray. You want to watch a how-to video on the inside roll? Approach the defender, and then boom, the inside roll. Watch him judge this space. He gives himself about 3 yards to work with. Inside roll, shield your stick, finish it on the doorstep. Malone, his second of the contest.
Had the first goal of the game here tonight. 31 now in the season. And as you said earlier, 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points total in that first meeting in the 15-14 win here on February 22nd.
Older brother TJ, All-American, All-Big Ten performer at Penn State, now making things happen as a member of the Maryland Whipsnakes in the Premier Lacrosse League.
Face-off, Mullen, he gathers it. It's now 5-2 in favor of the Orange at the face-off, but they trail it by 3.
The face-off wins are being negated by good Harvard defense, good goaltending, and that ride. That ride right now is terrorizing Syracuse. 3
saves so far by Graham Stevens in goal for Harvard, 1 for Jimmy McCool for Syracuse. Orange have it, trying to close the gap here. It's over to Roa. On top for Hiltz. Hiltz gets a step. Trying to feed it into the middle there for Sam English. Harvard possession.
Owen Hiltz is an amazing player. Drafted this week into the PLL. But for my money, he's not a ball carrier for the most part. He is a finisher. And I think he's just handling the ball a little too much for this Syracuse offense.
Logan Ipp gets a step. Ipp shoots. He scores for Harvard.
Logan Ipp, spelled IP. And this IP address is www.sprinttothecage.com. Look at the burst. Out of the gate, just out races the Syracuse defense, goes right down Irving Street and whips it past Jimmy McCool. Look at this separation. The downhill speed of number 3 in gray. Drills it.
Well, if you're going to be 4th in the nation in shot percentage at 49%, it's thanks to plays like that. You can't stop that one. 22 now for Ipp, and it's a 5-1 lead for Harvard. Timeout. So 5-0. Syracuse was up. They lost. Now it's kind of a reversal here as it's 5-1 Harvard, and we have a ton of time to go in this game. It's 11:36 still here in the second quarter. So long game. We're seeing anything that can happen here in the postseason, Mark, like you said. And, first round action today. I thought it would be more of a competitive game there with Ohio State, Notre Dame. How about credit the Irish big win today?
You got to give a ton of credit to Kevin Corrigan and the 2-time defending national champions. Richard Ellie, between the pipes, was fantastic with 15 saves. Everybody talks about Big Tasty Caleb Fiak, and with good reason, but Richard Ellie really showed up today in Columbus.
15-6 win for Notre Dame as they advance to the quarterfinals. The other quarterfinal team that made it in was Maryland with a 13-5 win over Air Force. You're watching this one here today, right now, and then tonight is Cornell and Albany at 7:30 Eastern on ESPNU to cap off our first round coverage as Harvard loses it. It's going to be Syracuse possession here.
What a snag by Logan Ipp, but then Kakemo, great patience. Waited for Ipp to gain his feet, had the stick in one hand, and then just a beautifully timed check. How many times do you see defenders either slash a guy on that play or run up their back? Great discipline by Kakemo to wait for Ipp to bring that stick down unprotected and takes his lunch money.
Peyton Anderson. Check it, excuse me, that's Spallina. 22 Spallina for Syracuse. Works it behind the net here, guarded by Jack Peterson of Harvard. Spallina. Slide comes in, the pass to Hiltz, and the shot, the save made by Stevens.
That was great offense. If I'm Harvard, I'm not sliding to 22. He will back in, muscle you down. The minute you leave your man, he's going to find you. He'll pick you apart. He's a great feeder. I don't slide off of 22 if I'm Harvard.
Well, and that's what freed up Hiltz that time. Right?
Big time.
Yep. What a play, though, by Stevens.
That was an unbelievable save.
He's got 4 saves here in this first half.
I would say 2 of them is stolen goals. The kick save and now that one right on his front porch.
And on the other end of the field, his team is playing super well here on the offensive end. With Cortez now gives it up here for King. And a shot on the way that got blocked by the Syracuse D as Ip put that shot on, but Sam King has it still. King feeds it into the middle and falling down, a shot off the post, a rebound. Ip's got it. He gets hit. Here comes the flag. And it's going to be a penalty. Another flag is thrown here. And that's going to be bad news for the Orange. And look out, they're going to throw another flag. And finally the whistle blows, and they're going to have to separate the players here.
I think some of Syracuse finest might come in here and get some of these guys.
Wow.
They could probably get off with community service. We're going to see the replays, and this is some real stick swinging by this Orange defense.
It's going to be a major advantage here for Harvard right now with a 5-1 lead and 9:01 to go in this second quarter. 3 flags thrown on this play here, on this sequence.
I think there are 3 different penalties. There are 4 white jerseys out there to play defense. So that rings off the pipe.
That was
Ip
from
gets
Malone.
it, and watch Ip, he gets brained right there. Yep. That's your first flag. And the second flag, I believe, was the check by 35 Dwan onto the shoulder of the Harvard player. And then Sam King gets hogtied by Riley Figueres.
All right, we got 3 fouls on the play. First one's Syracuse 11, hold 30 seconds. Second 2 are Syracuse 26, 1 minute slash, 1 minute indirect contact to the head. We're going to review that.
All right, so you had Riley Figueres, number 11, 26, Chuck Kaczynski, and then they're going to take a look at 35's Billy Dwan.
No,
right?
so 26 is 2 fouls.
Oh,
so
2,
Dwan
okay,
gets that. He's still on the field.
Yep.
So Kaczynski is the guilty party.
26 in white. Well, there's Figueres.
That's the hold.
Yeah.
And after this, it's just a matter of guys coming in to protect number 7, Sam King. And so let's take a look at the first couple fouls. There is Kaczynski with the check on the back of the head. And there's Dwan. I thought that would have been the second foul. And there's a check in the back. I mean, you know,
right.
35 in white. A lot of stuff going on there. So Kaczynski, I think, is going to get charged with 2 fouls, but really 35 in white, Billy Dwan. Now that is going to be the cross check to the head.
Oh.
Okay, so they got the cross check to the head and then that slash. So that cross check to the head is what they're reviewing to see what penalty will be served.
Confirmed. Reset to 60.
So they're not going to escalate or de-escalate.
The 2 men up now for Harvard for 30 seconds, and then 1 up for another 30, and they go to just make sure they got everything right.
So 26 had to be 2, but the first one of it's going to be locked, all right? Thank you.
So that's got to be served in its entirety. Locked in means that's the one you start with. So that full minute has to be served before you can begin the time on the other subsequent penalties. That first one full time needs to evaporate. And let's remember, so if Harvard scores, the other 2 fouls are released. But that 1 minute non-releasable on Kaczynski holds even if Harvard scores on this initial thrust. It's a lot, man.
It is. Yeah, great job, Mark. You're all over it. You're an official yourself. You know it. And they come together. They figure it out, making sure you tell the table.
And this is the beauty of lacrosse. You got Syracuse defensive coordinator John O'Derna and Jerry Byrne, Harvard head coach, coming together right around that substitution area, just being like, I don't know, I can't figure it out either.
Harvard's got it here with 2 men up. King, Botkus, back to King. Andrew Perry. Bacchus feeds in the middle. A shot to score by Jack Spidell. 6-1 Harvard. Extra man goal here with 8:36 to play in the first half.
It's been all crimson in a sea of orange so far in this game. I just love the snappy ball movement. It does not stay in anyone's stick for more than a second. King keeps it hot. Then the feed over to 27 in gray. Botkiss, who slots it to Spidell, who hammers it home. The two other fouls are released, but Harvard will still be man up for the remaining 35 seconds of the Kaczynski non-releasable.
The leading scorer for Harvard knocks it through for his 44th of the season. Tonight we'll have the final 2 episodes of Full Court Press Season 2 at 9 and 10 Eastern on ESPN2 and ESPN+. Don't miss it, 4-part docuseries, unparalleled behind-the-scenes look into the players of Notre Dame, LSU, USC, and more coming up tonight. Full Court Press. And they haven't added the goal yet up on the screen here. In Syracuse, it's 6-1. Harvard leads it.
A lot to unpack, Mike. Welcome to May. Welcome to playoff lacrosse.
My goodness. Yeah, they still have it 5-1 here in the stadium. And the Harvard fans are yelling and screaming. They'll get it right. Here comes another flag. Multiple flags here thrown. And it's getting heated now. Let's see what we got here on this play.
That's unfortunate for Harvard. You're a man up, even though you're going to lose a face-off, but now you're going to go even strength.
Guys, clear the box, clear the box. Foul zone, grade 29, cross-check, direct contact to the head, 2 minutes, full time.
Oh, wow. That's Baracco.
Take a look right here, and that is the definition of direct contact to the head and neck area by Baracco. You just gotta be, we just talked about Syracuse with discipline. If you're Harvard, you gotta be more disciplined, and that's what head coach Jerry Byrne right now is probably relaying to his face-off man, Matt Baracco.
So it's gonna be 5-on-5 here for a little bit. That's 2 minutes now, the penalty on Baracco. Still got 1:26 left on the pentalty for number 26, Chuck Kaczynski.
I apologize. Okay, so they gave him 2 minutes. I thought it was a 1 minute. That's my bad.
No, that's okay. There's a lot going on there, Mark. I mean, you had more knowledge of it than anybody, believe me. Anybody watching, fans here? I mean, that was crazy. Minute 26, so that one is running down. We're 5-on-5 here for another 34 seconds. Spallina feeds it over now here for Michael Leo. Rolls it back up top for Hiltz. Back to Leo. Still 5-on-5 here. 50 seconds left in the Syracuse penalty. Minute 24 to go on the Harvard penalty. Halfway through the second quarter. 6-1 Crimson. Leo for Spallina. Rolling back. Nowhere to go. Goes it back out to the outside. English. Off the pick from Leo. Under 30 seconds left before Syracuse is at full strength. English. Gets hit. Ball's loose. Harvard's got it.
Syracuse just looks completely discombobulated right now, offensively.
Coming over is Sean Jordan. 52, he's got it, he dumps it inside, and on the doorstep for the easy goal for the Crimson. They score again. And that's Owen Guest.
This Harvard defense has come to play. Sam English tries to swim his way inside of the Crimson zone. He wanted to hold, but you initiated the contact. The great run out by Sean Jordan. And Jerry Byrne was right next to the official. He was going to call a timeout, but then he sees Syracuse, why are you sliding to the pole? 1, 2 guys. Leave the most dangerous man on the field in that situation. Number 39 in gray, Owen Guest, wide open, and it's an easy finish for the short stick defensive midfielder.
This team first in the nation in caused turnovers per game, 11.79 coming in. It was Ray Dirth, number 10, that got it started, knocking that ball away. Sean Jordan picked it up, 52 on the break, and then got it down to 39, Owen Guest. It's 7-1 Crimson.
And I love Syracuse. Joey Spallina in particular hustled and ragging on Jordan, but once he was able to get by that pressure, Jerry Byrne peeled off the referee. He was just waiting for him to get in the box and call a timeout, but undisciplined Syracuse defense, you slide 2 guys to the pole, just not a good play, not a good move.
And so Syracuse calls a timeout. Their final one of the first half. They are going to be a man up for 27 seconds when we come out of the timeout, but there have been tons of miscues here for the Syracuse Orange in this game today, Mark. 9 turnovers up to this point.
Yeah, and it started early as this Harvard defense really taking away passing lanes, confusing the Syracuse offense, but really it's the clearing game that turned this game upside down for Syracuse. The inability to go from defense to offense has really set the tone and really given Harvard a ton of confidence. They are playing not like an at-large team that was the last team in to the 2025 NCAA tournament.
The 10 wins they have right now this season are the most point. 9 turnovers, 3 penalties. Goalkeepers only had 1 save, and you know, so what that you're up 8-2 in the faceoffs? I mean, you're down 6.
Jimmy McCool, remember in the first meeting, was pulled. Only made 5 saves before he gave way. But if you're Syracuse, you're down 7-1. You're a man up. Just under 7 minutes left to go. Flush it all. You got to flush it all. And it starts now with the comeback.
See if they can get something on this extra man opportunity here. Greg Elijah Brown for Syracuse. 46 is in. Over to Finn Thompson. Back to Thompson. Hiltz, Leo, back to Hiltz. Down low, Spallina, it's off the post. Great look. Wow, what a hustle too for Syracuse to get closest to it, and they retain possession.
Yeah, closest to it, when and where it went out of bounds. Owen Hiltz, but watch out. That's what Guest was doing on the attack zone. So we are now at even strength. Harvard dodges the extra man bullet, the power play bullet from Syracuse, but now you got to dig in and complete the stand.
Here's English. Sam English. I don't know what he was thinking there. Right into the player of Harvard. It's intercepted, and then they lose it. And that was Dirth that had it for the moment, number 10. It's still loose. And a push on the Crimson, and it's Syracuse ball. I
just feel like this Harvard defense has the Syracuse offense incredibly confused. Sam English got to the middle of the field right there. Instead of uncorking it, he threw it into a sea of, 4 gray jerseys?
Correct.
That's not Sam English. That's not number 15 in white. That's not his brand of lacrosse. So these heads are spinning for Syracuse.
Leo takes a shot, and then they do throw the flag.
That's
going to be on Dirth.
That's weak.
They were waiting, and I don't know if any advantage was had there. They still have possession. Crowd wants another flag. Here's Spallina. Spinning is Roa. Roa shoots, he scores. Luke Roa. And he has both Syracuse goals here tonight.
It's a big one. We talked about Roa on the run, righty or lefty. The first one was a lefty cannon. This one is down the alley, right-handed, beats the slide, and then solves Stevens' far post. Luke Roa. I love the little hitch move because that froze the slide. The slide was ready to come, but when he hitched, held up the slide, gave him an extra step or two, and he cashes in. The flag down was a hold, wiped out by the goal, so we're even strength.
Back to the faceoff. Matt Baracco, 29 for Harvard. And John Mullen, 27 for Syracuse. Orange have won 8 of the 10 at the X. That goes against Mullen this time, and it's going to be Harvard ball. Here's Andrew Perry for Harvard as they do their substitutions. Back over to Cortez. Cortez gets a step here. Throws it behind for Sam King. Perry. Now for Malone. Teddy Malone. He's got 2 goals today. Malone. Swings it up top here for Ip. Logan Ip fires away and connects. And Ip has scored twice today for Harvard. They get the goal right back.
This is the first time I've had the opportunity to watch Logan Ip, number 3 in gray, live. I am blown away with his athleticism and how fast he goes from 0 to 60. Bye-bye. Look at that footwork, the burst, and then the ability to locate where you want to shoot and stick it far post. Beautiful shot by Ip.
2 goals on 3 shots for Ip so far here tonight. He's been on a tear over the last 3 games as well. The 2025 NCAA Division I Lacrosse Championship will be taking place on Monday, May 26th at 1 o'clock p.m. at Gillette Stadium in Boston. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. You're watching first-round coverage here today from Syracuse inside the Dome. We've got one more game later tonight with Cornell and Albany to cap off our first round as we near 8 teams to the quarterfinals. Already have 6 of them. Who's going to join them from this one here tonight? We'll find out.
Yeah, and Cornell-Albany, an interesting matchup. I can still remember that quarterfinal game from 2007 when you had Max Sebald leading the way for Cornell. Brett Queener, the goaltender for Albany. They have a playoff history. Best player in the game, C.J. Kirst.
And it was Syracuse's, they got the stick knocked out of the hands that time of Wyatt Hoddle. And Harvard's got it. Yeah, I mean, you think about that, right? You said 2007. We were just discussing that earlier today. I'm like, oh, yeah, that was just 18 years ago, right?
The times, the years are going by, my friend.
By, man.
Yeah, I can still remember it like it was yesterday. It was at Princeton's Palmer Stadium. And that was a game where I believe Albany had the last possession. They lose, and the goaltender, Brett Queener for Albany, snaps his shaft over his knee in frustration.
Wow.
That's the first and last time I've ever seen that happen. Little Bo Jackson
crazy.
with the bat kind of action.
Well, the version of this year's team with C.J. Kirst and Ryan Goldstein, I mean, they've combined for 102 goals and 75 assists for the Big Red.
High-powered, and that is the identity of the Ivy League. When you talk about Cornell, we saw Princeton yesterday hang 22 on a pretty good Towson team, and here we're seeing Harvard playing fearless offensive lacrosse.
Shot clock is at 20. Crimson with the possession, leading by 6, 2:40 to go here in the first half. King. Over to Gaffney, Owen Gaffney. Clock's inside 10 to shoot now. He's got it, stick check, shot. 4 seconds left on the timer. Spidell. See if they just dump it, yep. Good call.
Good defensive stand by Syracuse. But with just over 2:20 left to go here in the second quarter, Harvard up by 6. Mike, I don't think this was on anyone's bingo card coming into today's action.
Not this score anyway, right?
No.
Because anything can happen. I was thinking the same thing with like the Notre Dame-Ohio State game. I'm not surprised Notre Dame won. I'm surprised by the score, 15-6. You know, I'm not surprised Harvard is winning this game.
Right.
They've already beat them this year, but I'm surprised at 8-2. Leo shoots. That's off the post. That's happened a couple of times for the Orange here tonight. And the rebound by Roa, and he sails it wide with 1:48 to go.
Yeah, third pipe. I think Spallina crossbarred it.
Yeah.
on the possession before, and now another one kisses off of the iron.
So Michael Leo on the restart, 7 and white for the Orange. Roa again, trying to get it over to Leo. Bad pass.
Yeah, another one just right at the ankles of Michael Leo, and the confusion and the lack of execution continues for this Syracuse offense. The other thing, Mike, with this game being the way it is, Harvard's pretty much taken this crowd out of the game.
Yes.
That 12th man for Syracuse, not a factor.
Oh, big play here, though, on the defensive end. They knock it away. They get the cause turnover, and now here comes Owen Hiltz. Unsettled situation. Hiltz dumps it down low, and the shot sails wide right by Finn Thompson, but over there closest was Roa. And a timeout taken by Harvard, and that's their final timeout of this first half. And if you're Syracuse, you can hold for the final shot. There's really no time difference right now between the shot clock and the game clock, exactly 71 seconds. Well, these teams have met before in the postseason. That was back in 2006. And this Syracuse Orange team prevailed and handily in that game.
Take a look at the baggy shorts. And that day it belonged to Brett Bucktooth for the Syracuse Orange. He was incredible in this game. Harvard all game long just never really could figure it out, and the Orange prevailed.
5 goals and 2 assists for Bucktooth, and there's his son. That's Brett Bucktooth Jr., number 83, the freshman attackman for the Syracuse Orange.
And doing his dad proud, wearing the colors and being a Syracuse Orange. That 2016, Mike, went to the national semifinals that year, led by his dad, Brett Bucktooth. And when you think about Syracuse lacrosse, they had a streak of 22 consecutive national semifinal appearances. Right. And this is an Orange program that has not been to championship weekend since 2013. That's a long drought for a proud and storied program like Syracuse.
That's 12 years. They were the runner-up that year in 2013. Their last title was back in 2009. This is the 100th tournament game for Syracuse in their history. One of 3 teams to play 100 postseason games. Pretty incredible. 69 and 30 all time with 11 titles. But in a fight here today, that's for sure.
That 06 team lost to Virginia. No one was touching that Cavalier ball club that year. Our colleague Matt Ward, Tewaaraton winner. You had Kyle Dixon in the midfield. Kip Turner, goaltender, currently an assistant at the University of Virginia. That team was loaded.
Mark, what are you doing here if you're Syracuse? Down 6. Time is even with the shot clock and the game clock.
I mean, Roa's been the guy to crack the code. So Luke Roa, looks like they're going to use him as the party starter, but will he finish with it?
Number 8. Picks it up. It's up top now for Leo. Michael Leo trying to get by Dearth. His bouncer is on the way. It's off to the left. Backed up here by Finn Thompson. 53 seconds to go before halftime.
Syracuse is having some good success dodging from the midfield when they just make a decision and go. And when you get to the middle of the field, you get your arms free, just let it rip.
Roa, he does, off to the right again, and it'll still be Syracuse possession with 40 seconds left in the half. How about not letting Spallina have his way so far in this first frame? 22 for Syracuse.
He's a feeder, and the one time that they slid to him, he should have had an assist.
Yeah, Heltz, and a great save by Stevens. Now he does. He tries to feed it in front here for Finn Thompson. The ball's knocked down. It's loose. We're going to hold here against Harvard. Stays with Syracuse with 24 ticks left.
And that's what Spallina will do. He'll jam it into tight windows, and Thompson has shown the ability, as Hiltz has as well, to go some flair with behind the back.
Leo trying to work on Dearth. Here's Roa with the 2 Syracuse goals today. Unleashes, and that's not there as well. And the clock is down to 9 seconds remaining before the half.
One thing Harvard is doing defensively, they're finishing their slides. What do I mean by that? The Syracuse guys shooting are ending up on their backside.
Spallina, and it's not there, and it's collected by Harvard, and there's 2 seconds left.
And Spallina was in the crease.
Yep. And that's how the half ends. Harvard scored the first 3 goals of the game. Syracuse came back with 1, then 4 more in a row for Harvard. They've traded goals, and then it's 8-2 here at the half.
It's been a crimson wave so far in the first 30 minutes here in the Dome as this Syracuse team, their lowest scoring half of the season, will go into the locker room to regroup.
First round coverage of the Men's Lacrosse Championship. Winner to the quarterfinals. We've reached the half. Harvard leads Syracuse on the road 8-2. Halftime on the other side of this break. Kind of how they played all season.
Yeah, the up-tempo, a lot of offense, fearless, and that's exactly what they're doing here. And Logan Ipp, his athleticism, his speed is just incredible.
So it's 8-2. And there's Malone, and Roa for Syracuse has both of their goals, and mentioned Spallina earlier in that first half, number 22, and he's got 2 shots, and that's it. You said Stevens really kind of stole one of those goals when he did try to feed it in for Hiltz, who had a great look in front of the cage, but that was turned aside. The turnovers, 12 for Syracuse, 10 for Harvard, and then the clears, as you talked about, 3 of 6 in the clearing game for Syracuse, and that's what Harvard does to teams.
I thought that Owen Hiltz, 77 in white, also handled the ball in too much of a quarterback role in that first half of action. In the first quarter in particular, look for Syracuse to attack more from the midfield, try to get to the middle of the field. The first 5 minutes of this third period, they're always important, but they're critically important to Syracuse. They get 1 or 2 to kind of turn the tide here, get some momentum on their side. If you're Harvard, that was a conversation in the locker room. This game is far from over. Syracuse is at home. Firepower, talent, got to be on guard.
Baracco at the faceoff for Harvard and Mullen for Syracuse, and the Orange win it 10-3 now at the faceoffs, but you got to turn them into goals. And can they do that here on this possession to start the second half?
We'll see what adjustments offensive coordinator Pat March made to this Syracuse offense.
Michael Leo has it for Syracuse. Roa back to Leo behind the net. Spallina. Good rotation here. Hiltz, and a save by Stevens. What a day so far today. 5 saves now for Graham Stevens.
That was good offense. And Owen Hiltz with a step down from that range. I'll take it any day of the week. The placement just wasn't there. But how about Stevens? His crease awareness. He was almost stepped right into Joey Spallina and gave it up.
And knocked out a Perry stick, but Sam King corrals it. Goes back for Spidell, now back to King. Perry dumps it to Cortez. Francisco Cortez. Here's Malone. 2 goals today for Harvard. Malone in the middle. Cortez, and knocked down, scooped up by Jimmy McCool.
Giant save from the big man, the ACC goaltender of the year. Little whirling dervish on the crease. McCool met it, stick on stick. Huge save for Syracuse.
Carter Rice brings it over for the Orange here, and offsides is the call.
Mental mistake. And you can see the bench for Syracuse, as excited as they were for that McCool save, you can see their shoulders just sag with another mental error.
Our friend and colleague who calls the national championship, Anish Shroff, sent you a text today about an awesome stat. What was that?
The last time a team beat Syracuse at home, 1918. It's 1918, an Onondaga Nation beat Syracuse twice in 1918. Here on campus.
Twice in one season.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's that's over 100 years ago.
That is a crazy stat.
If my math is correct.
Yeah. And that is what Harvard is trying to do here today. in the first round of the playoffs. And that shot got blocked on its way in. Owen Gaffney that time. And the Syracuse fans and the bench trying to get back into it here as they regain possession.
Those are the breaks that they need. That was a shot that ricocheted off of a Syracuse player. No backup for Harvard. You know, you don't design it like that. That's just the way it worked out. Syracuse needs a little bit of lady luck in addition to just executing a whole lot better.
21 shots for Harvard in this game, 10 on goal, 20 for Syracuse, 7 on goal. Anderson. There's Joey Spallina. There's a pick here from Finn Thompson. Peyton Anderson. For Hoddle and back over to Hiltz. Hiltz gets inside. Here comes the pressure, knocked out of his stick. Combination of Charlie Muller and Finn Picorni that time for the Harvard Crimson.
It's almost like the shorties for Harvard are letting Hiltz get a step, and then they're turning him, and then creating turnovers as the Harvard defense. And we got another flag down. It's going to be offsides, I think. 1, 2, 3. Let me do math. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. Not offsides. It's going to be a hold or a slash, I believe, on Syracuse.
So penalty coming up on the orange here, and a stellar ground ball pickup too, by the way, by number 7, Sam King for Harvard as they have possession. And now with Ip. Cortez coming in.
So I take that back. There are 7 on the defensive end. I guess Peyton Anderson was a guilty party, and he said, okay, forget it. I'm just going to go down and play defense if the flag is already offsides. That's good coaching by Syracuse to find out what the flag was. Because it is offside, you can send that 7th guy down. Why not? It's not going to hurt. But if that was a hold or a slash and you send a 7th guy, now you get a second flag down.
Right. That's a good point, Mark. Here's Cortez. For Ip. In the middle, Cortez takes a huge shot. The ball is loose. And here comes the penalty call.
Offside, 30 seconds. Reset it to 60.
Peyton Anderson, the guilty party. Gary Gate looks on, trying to just find something to spark this Syracuse team. You just saw a few minutes ago McCool with a doorstep save, but thus far the Orange have not capitalized on juice plays like that. Things that kind of really get the blood flowing.
Andrew Perry, 41 for Harvard. It's over to King. And Malone and Spidell coming into the middle there. Back over to Perry. King. Back in his stick, back over to Perry. Perry shoots, that was blocked. Perry's gonna try to get it back. Nope, now it's still loose. Kicked around, recovered by Ip for Harvard.
Big time ground ball. Shot clock reset as well. Oh, I thought that should have, no, it didn't make it, I apologize, it did not make it to the cage.
Yep, it's down inside of 10. And now McCool has it here for Syracuse.
Nor was there a change in possession, which would have necessitated a shot clock reset.
Now, the other thing that Coach Byrne talked about with the ride by Harvard is that even if they don't create a turnover and they do just get it over within the 20 seconds, well, now they just use 20 seconds. And then, you know, you force some pressure here early in the possession, and maybe you don't get into your offense till 40 seconds mark, and that's half the clock.
Exactly. You take away any extended time for the offense to get their proper personnel on the field.
And Roa unable to gather it here, and it's loose on the sideline. It's going to stay with Syracuse. Roa.
That release
is
sinister.
21 shots, 7 on goal, and just 2 goals for Syracuse so far. Another one off the post. That time by Leo. 4 posts today for Syracuse. They will retain possession, however, here. But Mark, the combination of the saves by Stevens and the shots off the post today, it'd be much different than a 6-goal game right now. That's off the stick of Sam English. He does recover it, though. And his pass, not enough on it to Roa, and that is going to be taken away by Harvard. Look out, Harvard spied down as he misses it off to the right, and a race for it. They're going to stay with the Crimson on at that time as Malone went after it.
Yeah, when and where it goes out. A lot of times guys that run past the guy who was closest when and where it goes out looks like they were closest. But I tell you, Syracuse caught a break with that loose ball push. That was phantom-ish. But credit Harvard for battening down and withstanding that second chance possession for the Orange.
No scoring yet here in the third. Does that change here? A hit, no call. Malone lost it. Syracuse has it.
Syracuse, very physical here, and a smart physical. Any Harvard shooter, much like what the Harvard D was doing to Syracuse, they're getting licked when they release the ball. They're getting a check, they're getting a body check, stick check, body check. Syracuse defense letting them know they're there.
Here's Hoddle. And a Peyton Anderson. And Spallina and Thompson behind the cage. Anderson gets in the middle, shoots and scores. Peyton Anderson for Syracuse.
Anderson, the freshman, taking on an Albany Great Dane team that's on a streak lately. Won the America East tournament in the AQ and then knocked off Siena in the play-in game. Good win here by Mullen here for Syracuse. They try to go back-to-back for the first time today, and they do! Scoring it is Nick Kakemo. Syracuse is back in this game. Not only is it their 4th goal to cut the Harvard lead in half, but it's a pole goal and it's a juice play for this Orange team. I like the patience, and Syracuse will throw it to anybody. And in this instance, it's Kakemo with the 70 inches of titanium. Great recognition by Finn Thompson. Kakemo stayed on the field when other Harvard defenders peeled off in the odd man rush. He collects it, slips it past Stevens, and Syracuse has life. First goal of the season, of course, a defenseman who has 21 ground balls, 16 caused turnovers coming in, the senior at a Center Point, New York, and you're right, maybe that juices them up a little bit here. Back-to-back goals for Syracuse, still 6:38 to go in the third, and they win the face-off again with Mullen. It's now 12-3 in face-offs for Syracuse. And this is kind of what you were thinking about, right? Yeah, and if you're Harvard, this is now time to dig in and get a stop, because the Orange are now going downhill on you a little bit with some confidence, and they've got the crowd back in the game. This is what you were worried about coming in, you know, for a Syracuse team that wins these face-offs at the clip that they win them. 8th in the nation in face-off winning percentage total as a team. Going down is Leo. Still has it. His first time today at Syracuse has back-to-back goals. Now behind the back by Spallina and saved by Stevens. I think the newly refurbished roof of the dome would have blown off had Spallina hit that. Unbelievable save by Stevens. This is patented Joey Spallina. He gets you up top in that little 5-and-5 and goes behind the back. Stevens denies him. Carter Rice almost got it back for Syracuse. Six saves for Stevens here in this game tonight. And that's a third goal I think he's taken away from Syracuse. You know, if I'm Harvard, I got to re-examine. And of course, John Mullen's one of the best face-off men in the country. He's exiting the ball to a place where Harvard can't mess with him.
Yeah.
If I'm the Crimson, I got to look at that and figure out, okay, how can we get in there and create some chaos at the face-off?
Cortez has it for Harvard. For Perry. Behind the net here for King.
When will it be Sam King time as well for Harvard? He's played well, but only one goal. Figueres has done a nice job of containing him.
Number 7, he's behind the net right now. Here's Ip. Ip tries to go in front. He's looking for Spidell. It's going to be recovered here by Cortez before it goes out.
Billy Dwan, 35 in white, has virtually erased Spidell, number 4 in gray.
Here's King with 12 seconds on the shot clock. King, he scores! You called it, Mark, and he delivered.
Moments like these, you need your best player to make a big play. Sam King, the All-American from Harvard, Tewaaraton finalist, answers the bell. Great job of setting up this dodge. Nice little pick, and look at him just punish the upper 90. And there's the emotion. Sam King realizes how big that goal is for his team.
Yeah, you said it. Sam King time, and he delivers. I mean, the first time a player from Harvard's going to be at that Tewaaraton dinner, right? You know, and he's earned it. He was a draft pick in the PLL, the 18th overall pick by the Utah Archers, so the back-to-back champions, and that's a big goal right there.
He's a special player. As we talked about a little earlier, lately recruited out of high school, really came into his own on that 2020 Loonies club team. Just an epic team that used to battle with that Team 91 2020 group. Summer in and summer out.
Oh, look at this. Syracuse's John Mullen trying to stay on sides and did get it back over, but now the ball is loose, and it's going to be picked up eventually here by the Orange. And it's going to be a 20-second call.
The Syracuse bench is apoplectic. They are pleading with the officials, saying that it was kicked over. But I think the refs got it right.
No possession was had, right, by Harvard, so the clock was still on, right? Let's see it again here.
Let's take a look.
Oh, yeah. You got a point.
They're saying that Harvard kicked it over, but I think that the kick occurred after the 20 seconds had evaporated.
I did look up, and it had 58 on there, so is it 22? Yeah, that's good. I'm with you, Mark. Okay, here is King. Once again, they feed it in front. The shot is saved by McCool on the offering that time from John Arndt.
For a big man, he gets from post to post.
Flags are flying here. Physical game, to say the least, today inside the Dome.
Jimmy McCool, look at him. Windshield wiper.
Gray 7 push, 30 seconds. Gray 7 push, 30.
Sam King with the push.
McCool has shown up here in the third quarter. 2 unbelievable saves, and now we got some Owen Guest, Michael Grace chirping right there. If I'm a referee, I got to pay attention to that. This could be an explosive situation.
Yeah, Grace is kind of shoving him a little bit here.
Yeah.
He's kind of egging him on.
McCool was in that discussion as well. It's all gamesmanship, Mike.
Right.
All gamesmanship, intimidation.
Yeah, if you're a guest, you just say, look up at the scoreboard right now, my friend. You don't need to do anything. Don't retaliate. And your team's up by 5. Hiltz delivers, losing the stick is Stevens. He does pick it back up. Back to Hiltz, his second try. It's blocked on his way in. He gets it back. And Syracuse here. Greg Elijah Brown going after it on the sideline. Orange have it. Spolina.
He's got a shorty matchup. He's going to take him behind the cage where he's most comfortable.
And he shoots and he scores it. For the first one today, Joey Spallina.
I think the Harvard defense was thinking the way I was. And Joey Spallina, he operates most comfortably from behind the cage. And right here, he's just going to have a little burst. And he doesn't need much angle. And I think he surprised Stevens as well. You think he's going to cruise behind the cage, uses a little burst to get a step, and then he roofs it against Harvard. Spallina, gigantic goal.
Yeah, Syracuse fans are probably saying, hey, Mark, could you say it's Spallina time here? You know, because we need him to get going a little bit, and that's his first goal of the night here tonight.
This is where you need to play make it, take it lacrosse if you're John Mullen and Syracuse. And if you're Harvard, you got to figure a way to make this a little more dirty, a little more 3-on-3 versus 1-on-1. That one's a little too easy. I might bump somebody to be hip-to-hip with Sam English.
Yeah, because he just kicked it right to him.
But then you run the risk of Mullen winning it out the front door and having a fast break.
And he's been able to score on those, as we've seen. Mullen's got 3 goals on the season. 3 flags are down here on the field.
That's going to be interference on Harvard, pushing one of the Syracuse players into the crease.
3 goals scored by Syracuse in this third quarter, just 1 for Harvard. It was an 8-2 Crimson lead at the half. The lead is down to 4, and now it's going to be an extra man, and here comes the call.
Foul's on grade 15, push, 30 seconds. Push.
So it's a push.
30, reset 60, please.
On Logan Darren. What happens is it's a push with possession, and once a player goes in the crease, you have to kill it. The play's dead. So that's why there was not a continuation in that sequence.
Yep. It's another good call here by this crew, and now Syracuse with the extra man for 30 seconds. Trying to cut this down to a 3-goal lead. Hiltz, no. And over there to back it up is Leo.
This third quarter, they're getting looks.
Yes.
They are getting much better looks because they're taking better care of the ball.
Trying to overcome 16 turnovers, though, in this game to Syracuse if they want to get to the quarterfinals. Hiltz, Leo, pass knocked down. Oh, ground ball that just kind of scooped into the direction there that time of Harvard's Jack Brownlee.
Great ride by the Orange.
And we're back to the goalkeeper, Stevens. Up to midfield. And Harvard gets it over.
And an impressive clear. Just back out of the pressure, locate an outlet, which is your goaltender, and then switch fields. You had 3 attackmen riding like banshees in the front zone, and so you knew that a guy was going to be open, and that was great recognition of finding it.
50 seconds, third quarter, 44 to shoot. Cortez here for Harvard. Hoping to take at least a 4-goal lead, maybe 5 if they can get it on this possession here into the 4th. They've led by 6. Cortez off the pick. He has room. Misses. And with 20 seconds on the shot clock, it'll be put back in by King.
He's been great off of these restarts. A little more conservative. He doesn't want to shoot too early.
Has a pick, and this one goes over the top of the cage, and back there is Spidell. 13 to shoot, 19 seconds to go, third quarter. Spidell working in on Billy Dwan. Here comes some help. Back over now in front and diving in front of the cage, and a save made by McCool. 7 seconds to go for Syracuse. Third quarter, down 4. And knocked down by Stevens to end the third quarter.
Wow. We got a little bit of everything in this game, Mike. That was dangerous as Stevens almost misplayed that. 15 minutes to decide who goes.
First coverage starts at 7 a.m. Eastern on ESPN+.
With the 18th pick in the 2025 PLL College Draft, The Utah Archers select Sam King, attack Harvard.
First time ever, player for Harvard, drafted first round, 18th overall pick.
Two-time defending champions, and then, of course, the Syracuse. What you love about this, Mike, is the reaction of the teammates. You know, how happy they are for their guys, how proud they are for Syracuse Orange selected to play at the next level. Such a great moment for these young student athletes. 5 players in this game, and Sam English, you mentioned Spallina time. I'm kind of looking at Sam English time. You know, a guy who has the ability to do a little bit of everything, but if he can start making some plays, he takes wings on face-offs. It's been a little sloppy today. You know, fundamentally just has been a little bit off kilter, but if 15 and White can start making some plays, it's going to go a long way in this fourth period.
And this should be a wild one here, to say the least, in this fourth quarter. And it's going to be won here by Harvard on the faceoff. Koenig has it and now knocked out on the sideline. Going to stay with the Crimson.
Great hustle play by Mullen, showing his athleticism as he chased down Koenig. Unlucky that it bounced off of the Syracuse stick, but I think Mullen may have saved a goal right there for the Orange.
Owen Gaffney, 13 for Harvard, has it as they lead 9-5. Fourth quarter is underway. Sam King. There's a shot that's on the way by Miles Botkus. Remember, Harvard is trying to get back to the quarterfinals for the first time since 1996. They beat this Syracuse team once already in this building, February 22nd by 1, 15-14. Arndt. Shot clock's down to 15. Coming around from behind the goal, it's Spidell. He takes a hit and he scores it anyway.
Been waiting for Spidell to have an impact on this game, but this play is really made by 26 in gray, Teddy Malone. Spinning, and then he finds Spidell. And look at the soft hands, number 4 in gray. Just takes a step, knows he's going to get a lick, feels the punishment, but it's all mitigated by tickling the twine. Nice job, good finish by Jack Spidell.
It's great teamwork here by Harvard today. And Teddy Malone helping the cause, making a great play to Spidell. 45th of the season. 2 today. That just kind of takes a little bit of the energy down here right inside the dome, Mark, because they had started getting a little run there. 3-1 in that third quarter in terms of Syracuse and goal scoring.
Yeah, no question. We said the first 5 minutes of the third quarter were going to be critical, and I thought in those first 5, Jimmy McCool showed up and made a couple great saves. Now Syracuse, they've got to get to work.
Spallina. Working it, falling down, got it over now to his teammate Wyatt Hoddle. Reversed around here to Hiltz. Checked by Charlie Muller. Hiltz spins back, goes up top. It's going to be collected by Anderson.
Yeah, the time, Hiltz's timing today just seems off.
Yeah. Anderson. That's off the side of the net, and it's scooped up here by Stevens.
I think the referee thought he may have had it did have an injury, 15 in gray. Logan Darren has to exit the field.
Yep.
What do they call those, like a mom goal on Mother's Day?
Yes.
I'm going to wish a happy Mother's Day to my mom, Marion, and my wife, Erica.
Very good. Same with me. My mom, Marianne, and my wife, Steph. On this Sunday afternoon from Syracuse. We got one more game to come here tonight, too, by the way, at 7:30 p.m. Cornell and Albany, right here on ESPNU to cap off our first round coverage and see which team will make it to the quarterfinals.
We talked about that 07 game. I forget the year, forgive me, but how about when they played in Ithaca, so-called field, Blaze Reardon,
right,
the goaltender for Albany, coast to coast.
Here's a goal scored for Syracuse, Sam English. And what did you just say a couple minutes ago?
There he is, the captain, graduate student, transfer from Princeton. Credit Wyatt Hoddle for getting the defense to chase him. Little uncharacteristic for Harvard. You can see 52 in gray was a little confused. Sean Jordan, he gets mixed up in the wash, and English just steps into an open space, takes the feed, and he hammers it home. 2015, Blaze Reardon. Thank you.
Yes, that was the year. Our statistician, Mike Lindsley. Great work today, Mike. Thank you.
Said he was there.
Yeah.
He witnessed it live.
Yes.
That was history.
Wow. Mullen picks up the faceoff here. Syracuse down by 4. Mullen saves Stevens.
Mullen is being a beast right now. We saw him with a trail check. He's winning faceoffs, and that time Stevens steps up with another save. Again, it's not the quantity, it's the quality, and that was a gigantic stop for the Harvard netminder.
Nine saves in this game for Graham Stevens. The freshman, by the way, for Harvard.
Imagine being a freshman playing in this environment.
Right.
He's not a freshman anymore, right?
No.
Call the cliche police, but guy's got a lot of lacrosse under his belt.
Well, already being here once this year, I mean.
Huge help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge help.
No doubt. Spidell again. And he got the feed from John Arndt. And Harvard responds once again.
I thought it was a little too unselfish with the dodge here. And Arndt just finds Spidell, again with the soft hands. Great drag, beautiful dodge, the little give, a little bit behind his head. He had to reach back to get it, but does a great job of collecting himself, locating, and scoring.
And I thought really a great job of faking like he was going to shoot, and then he dumped it in front.
Yeah. I mean, when you get to the middle of the field like that, college lacrosse at this level, let her rip. But the slide came because it had to, and then Spidell just finds a vacated space and finishes.
Spidell is kind of patiently waiting a little bit here in this game. The leading goal scorer, that all of a sudden he ended up with the 6th goal of the game for this team, and now he has the last 2 in a row for Harvard as they lead it 11-6.
Hold against Harvard. And that one was a little weird. Mullen played it to an area that was going right to a Harvard long pole.
And when you look at the face-off numbers once again here, 16-4. Okay, it's been offset by 17 turnovers by Syracuse, and credit this Harvard team, for what they've done. 9 caused turnovers in the mix today as well.
They played good lacrosse. They got out to a quick lead.
Score it here with Syracuse and Luke Roa. He's got a hat trick today. A lot of time left. It's a 4-goal game.
The shooting motion and the release of Luke Roa is a thing of beauty. Split dodge from right to left. He's a natural lefty, but he shoots so well with both hands, it's tough to tell sometimes. And again, you can't jog with him across the face of the goal like that. You have got to get contact. You have to establish a relationship with his gloves and poke, lift, push, whatever you got to do to throw him off his line.
You had said that earlier, and he's been scoring like that. I mean, you almost have to be ready at any point that he can fire one on goal.
No question. When he sweeps, he's got one thing in mind, and that is to rifle a shot.
Syracuse has had 5 goals since 6:48 remaining in the third quarter. Trying to keep it going here. Spallina going after it, takes a big shot, and a flag comes in as Owen Guest lays him out, and Spallina is still down.
We'll see what the officials come up with on this one. I think this is going to be a multiple minutes.
Fouls on black 39, cross-check with indirect contact to the head. 1 minute, full time. We're going to look at it.
Calling indirect.
1 minute for a cross-check with direct contact to the head. That 1 minute cross-check is a
That's tough. That's to me, that's got to be multiple minutes. You have got a player in a compromised position. There is no such thing in lacrosse as a defenseless player. There's nothing in the rule book written like that. But when you're in a compromised position like that, that's a tough hit.
It's dangerous. Well, it's going to be 1 minute, non-releasable, but
I'm a little surprised.
yeah,
I thought that could have gone for 2.
We had 2 2-minute ones earlier today, so
We saw a 3-minute non-releasable last week in the Big Ten tournament semifinals. Maryland and Penn State, a Maryland defender got a 3-minute non-releasable. First time I've seen that in a really, really long time. But regardless, this is an opportunity for Syracuse to string together a couple of goals.
the message to Harvard here is that, yeah, you want to stay aggressive like you've been all game, but you got to be careful, right? I mean, there's still a lot of time left here.
Oh, heck yeah.
And
this game is far from over.
yep. And a goal here for Syracuse, and they are well within striking distance right now. Still 10 minutes left in the contest. Extra man. There it is. Perfectly executed and scored by Trey Deer.
Spallina shakes off the cobwebs and puts a beautiful pass. Just moving the ball around. I love the motion. Deer replaces Leo. Spallina recognizes cross crease. No one finds 91 in white. Let's take a look at his feet. Stepped in the crease after he shot and scored. And this is as close to make it, take it opportunity for Syracuse as you're going to get with Mullen at the face-off. The wing on the far side is only a Syracuse player, vacated because of the non-releasable foul.
Yeah, there's still 48 seconds left.
Yeah, so the foot of Deer looked dangerously close to the crease line when he shot and scored. So I'd be curious to see if that foot was in the crease.
Yep, goal mouth.
Okay.
We just heard the words goal mouth. So let's see. Deer does not end up in the goal mouth. Let's take a look at that. That right foot, that's a good goal. And he doesn't step in the goal mouth.
Yep. And
that's a good goal.
it is. I mean, his placement is perfect. I mean, he knows that right foot is clearly beyond the line. Yeah.
The ruling on the field of a good goal stands. Good goal.
So
One timeout this half.
I understand Jerry Byrne challenging that, but now you can't mess around with your timeouts. You know, you cannot mess around with your timeouts in this situation.
Yeah, because you lose the timeout for the unsuccessful challenge, and maybe thought, hey, that follow through with the other foot, but he did not go into the goal mouth. And now Spallina And Syracuse trying to get another one. They do, and ripping it from the outside for the goal. Kaczynski.
The crowd is on its feet. The energy is back in the dome. Great wing play by English. He's having an impact on this game. And Syracuse, it doesn't matter if you've got a short stick, a long stick, a pool cue, you're going to get the ball if you are open. And Kaczynski trailing the play, catches it, the worm burner with the 70 inches of titanium.
How about two defensemen scoring their first goals of the season here in this game for Syracuse? Nick Kakemo and then Chuck Kaczynski. And Syracuse with 2 goals in 11 seconds, and they're still on the extra man with 37 seconds left here, Mark.
And Kaczynski was so wide open because Harvard doesn't have anybody on the far wing. That's when there's a man-up face-off.
Did it again.
And here they come again. To Trey Deer, and then Kaczynski doing his best Rick Beardsley imitation. On the trail, catching it and scoring.
It's a good one.
Syracuse is on a roll.
Yes, they are, Mark, and they're still on the extra man here. The 1-minute non-releasable on the penalty from Owen Guest for Harvard. And this is critical here. Syracuse is trying to get 3 of them now. And that one is just off the mark on the shot by Greg Elijah Brown.
Harvard has played defense almost this entire quarter. That timeout helped them catch their breath a little bit.
And they're back at full strength, but it's not going to matter. It's Deer. He scores it right as the extra man was expiring, and it's a 1-goal game.
Trey Deer, the sophomore, out of the Mohawk territory, Native American heritage, making a difference in this game. The extra man specialist in that lower left position. I love that feed from up top. That was a thing of beauty to get down low to Deer.
Mark, it's the second time. You know he's camping out there, and he did the exact same thing. Defensively, I mean, I know you're down a man, right?
Right, but a little different. The other one was a cross crease feed.
Okay.
That one was a skip from the top point down. But to your point, you have to account for 91 in that space. But listen, Harvard right now, their heads are spinning. They played defense this entire quarter. That non-releasable foul, which honestly could have been 2 minutes, it's a game changer.
It certainly is. And now Rolla, he ties the game.
It's an orange wave. 5 unanswered goals by Syracuse. Luke Roa, we talked about his evolution as a shooter. Well, this is how it started. Time, room, success. And the bench loves it. Got to give a lot of credit to these guys, too. They were on the hype train when things weren't looking great. And they've continued their energy, and there is Roa tying his career high. Harvard right now is just gassed, I think, defensively. They are really struggling, and they have got to find a way to stem the tide.
5 goals in 1 minute and 39 seconds. That's how fast it could happen, and they win another face-off. John Mullins got it. That is now 22 as a team. He's got 21 of the 22 wins to his credit. And it's back into the stick of Roa, and now he gives it up here to Michael Leo. Syracuse can take the lead for the first time today. Fakes it behind the back. Goes to Spallina. Hiltz. Hiltz. Swim move, not there. Cross field and sails it past Leo.
Yeah, Hiltz continues to struggle. It just hasn't been his day. But you know what? It's okay. Over 8 minutes left. You just got 5 goals in 1 minute 39. You tied the game. Win the crowd, you win your freedom. And right now, the Orange has got their faithful.
It was 8-2 at the half in favor of Harvard, and Syracuse has outscored Harvard 9-3 here in the second half, and the Crimson throw it away.
It's
here.
okay. It's still 67 seconds.
Yep.
Good job by Harvard. Didn't go crazy, didn't panic, picked it up, found an outlet. Credit Logan Ip, too. He continues to impress me. Came back to the ball to create an avenue to beat the 60 seconds.
Yep, talking about number 3 there for Harvard. And now it's in the stick of Cortez. Cortez working his way in. Angle is shut off. Behind the net here for King. Back to King. Perry being hounded. Goes back over to Sam King. Shot clock at 20. Crowd appreciating the defensive effort here. Cortez, he's got nowhere to go. Trying to break free, he sails it over the top. Spidell's there for the backup with 7 seconds left on the shot clock.
Let's see what Harvard decides to do. Offensive coordinator Neil Hutchinson is already subbing guys off the field.
Spidell behind the net and then trying to work it in. There is Epp, and it's a violation of the shot clock.
Good defensive stand. You can tell that this Syracuse defense has been revitalized by this run.
Crowd has been phenomenal. Really into it now. As we said before, Onondaga Nation back in 1918 was the only team to beat Syracuse twice at home in a single season. You got to go back over 100 years, and Harvard is trying to do that here today, and now they find themselves in a tie game, a game they once led by 6 goals. Syracuse has yet to lead. McCarthy, and his pass is overthrown. Turnover.
I think that this second midfield unit has been productive today, but if I am Syracuse, I'm going to ride my first line guys. Roa, English, and Leo to the finish line.
6 teams have already punched their ticket to the quarterfinals. Richmond, Penn State, Notre Dame, Princeton, Georgetown, and Maryland. One of these 2 will join them, and then Cornell and Albany in the nightcap for the right to advance.
So because of a broken stick, Syracuse now has 3 shorties on defense. Will Harvard recognize and attack one of the short sticks?
Here's King. Off the pick from Botkiss. Arndt's got it. Swings back for King. Uses his body. He's taken down Figueres. No call. The ball is loose. It's picked back up by Harvard and Botkiss.
No blood, no foul.
Flips it behind the net. Now here's a shot, and that's off the mark by Sam King, and no backup, and it's Syracuse possession.
That was a golden opportunity for King. Wide open, misses the cage. I'm a little surprised that they weren't a little more recognizing of 3 shorties out there, one of which was number 1, Jake Spallina. First time I think he's been in the game that I can recognize. Why not give him a whirl?
You're right. Ball knocked out of the stick there of Michael Grace. And here is Spallina, Joey Spallina.
But you're not going to get many better shot opportunities for your best player than what we just saw.
What a game today. Coming up on 4 minutes remaining in the contest. We're tied at 11. Syracuse has come storming back.
Leo's a lefty. When he dodges with that right hand, you got to watch the rollback.
Leo trying to get a step. Falling down. Gives it up to Sam English. Here comes the flag. They're going to get the penalty. English knocked out of his stick. And here comes the penalty call.
Yeah, clearly a push on in the back on Michael Leo. Took away his advantage.
I was on grade 9. Push. 30 second technical. Grade 9 pushes 30 seconds. Please reset to 60.
Clearly a push. Another man-up opportunity for Syracuse. They have turned the game around with their execution on the power play.
McCorney is out with the 30 seconds. They did. They scored 3 extra man goals on that 1 minute non-releasable. They worked their way back into it here. Here's Hiltz. Spallina. Finn Thompson. Back over to Hiltz. Oh, flips it. And a shot to score from Leo. What a pass from Hiltz.
Yards faithful love it. A little razzle dazzle. Owen Hiltz has been a little off today, but this is a thing of beauty. The behind the back to your lefty, Michael Leo, and he makes no mistake about it. Top shelf, beautiful shot, velocity, placement, you have it.
That was awesome. That was an incredible pass. And Leo finishes the deal, and Syracuse has their first lead of the game. Mark, they've scored 6 in a row.
What do you do if you're Harvard? You've got to find a way to neutralize Mullen at the faceoff to get a possession. Your backs are to the wall.
They're trying, but Mullen is able to get it for the moment. Now it's loose, and Spallina has it. That got knocked out of his stick. A lot of pushing going on here. All the way back on the end line, and it's going to be Syracuse ball.
Remember that timeout that was lost by Jerry Byrne on that challenge on the Trey Deer goal. So now Coach Byrne has to save it a little bit in case his guys get in trouble later. He can't really burn one to try to stem this momentum for Syracuse.
Each team's got 1 timeout remaining. We're under 3 minutes. The shot is over the net that time by Rolla.
First midfield unit back out there for Syracuse. I like this decision by offensive coordinator Pat March.
22 face-off wins by John Mullen today. 5th in the nation in percentage. 2nd in the nation in ground balls. It's been outstanding. Big reason why Syracuse has been able to come back here. Leo flips it to English. Rolla. On the side there is Hiltz, and not there. Missing the goal. 11 seconds left in the shot clock. Spallina closest to the restart. Spallina rolls back, shoots, and the save by Graham Stevens.
That's a shot you want. You want Spallina with his weak hand, no screen, none of the behind-the-back stuff, clean save. Now can Harvard A clear, and then B, will they call a timeout to set something up and try to tie this thing?
They get it over. Here's Ip. Minute 45 to go.
Letting them play through.
Can Harvard tie it up here? Perry passes it behind the net. Working around, here is King.
King loves that question mark and that turn back shot. He didn't get to take it. Good defense.
That's tough. There's it. Goes into traffic. The ball is loose. Who wants it? Syracuse to the moment had it, and here comes the flag. Kakemo got it for a split second. He got hit, and a flag flies.
Harvard bench is upset. They were motioning for a timeout when Ip got in trouble.
Now on 41 black, push, 30 seconds. Black 41, push, 30.
So they called it on Andrew Perry. 30 seconds here, Mark.
It's hard to get a timeout when you have a player running into 3 guys on the other team. It's loud in here. Was the ball in the guy's stick? Was it out? And there you see Kakemo. He's got a gigantic goal in this game, and then probably the biggest GB of the contest.
1 minute and 6 seconds remaining. It is Syracuse ball on the extra man for 30 seconds with a 1-goal lead. Winner to the quarterfinals to take on Princeton.
Princeton beating Towson 22-12 yesterday, and take your pick. If it's Harvard-Princeton, it's round 3 in 2025. If it's Syracuse-Princeton, you want to talk about 2 of the elite programs in college lacrosse. They met 3 consecutive years, 2000, 2001, 2002, for the national championship. Princeton, that high-powered offense, but I think they have a very underrated defense and goaltender in Ryan Craddock. This has been awesome.
It really has.
This has been a terrific game.
All right, break this down for us here. It's Syracuse ball. They're on the extra man with a 1-goal lead and 1:06 to go. Harvard's out of timeouts now. Syracuse does have 1 timeout remaining. Talk to us about each side. Start with Syracuse.
Yeah, I think that they're going to play Syracuse lacrosse. I think they're going to look for an opportunity to score, and that left side has been open. Trey Deer, 2 dunks, and then you had Hiltz with that little touch behind the back pass to Leo. Look for them to try to continue to expose that left side of this man-down defensive unit for Harvard.
Now, what does Coach Byrne have to be talking about here now in this huddle, because they're out of timeouts and 1:06 to go, and they're on defense right now?
You're in a power play situation where you're on the bad side of it. So you really can't double the ball. Like, you can't pull your goalie, I don't think. We'll see what Harvard does. Yeah, there we see trying to locate their net. There he is, 56. Okay, because a lot of times what teams will do, they'll put the goalie down on attack to put 5 defenders or 6 if it's an even situation and just chase the ball. But again, you are in a deficit personnel-wise. Man-up opportunity for Syracuse, so you really can't double the ball.
They're going to try to ward off this penalty here, but then it's going to drop it down to just over 30 seconds remaining in the game.
Syracuse has taken a defensive approach. Wyatt Hoddle, Carter Rice, Sam English, all on the field. They're defensive midfielders. So they are going to let this thing bleed down, and we'll see if they change personnel to go man up, or if they just roll with trying to salt this away and kill the rest of the clock.
Harvard's back at even strength now. 35 seconds left in the game. English, they got to go after him. English running with it here. Knocked out of his stick. It's loose. Harvard's got it. 22 seconds to go. Here comes Owen Guest. Over midfield. Guest. Crimson down 1. Guest being hit by English. Gives it up for Spidell. Up at the top. Gaffney. He shoots. He scores. Owen Gaffney has tied the game with 6 seconds left.
This is unbelievable. The one person you want the ball in his stick, if you're Syracuse, is Sam English, and he gets it taken away. You cannot give enough credit to this Harvard defense. And Owen Guest, the human clear, gets it from defense to offense. The ball cycles around. Owen Gaffney gets it, step down, ties the game.
The caused turnover, the 10th of the game for Harvard with 23 seconds to go. It takes them 17 seconds. They score it. And with 6 halftime for Harvard, Syracuse storming back in the second half. They had 6 in a row, Mark, and now all of a sudden we find ourselves in overtime.
Syracuse just flawless on the extra man. Michael Leo ties things up, but Owen Guest doing his best Ernie Davis impersonation, running through the Syracuse defense to clear it, gets it up to Owen Gaffney. Straight away, worm burner. That is just a beautiful shot.
Well, and Owen Guest has got to be feeling, pretty good the way he at least brought it over and gave his team a chance to tie it up, because he's the one that had that 1 minute non-releasable penalty, and Syracuse scored 3 goals off of that 1 minute. Owen Hiltz, the leading scorer, saving his best for last. A Capital One player of the game here today. Owen Hiltz with the goal, the game winner in overtime, 2 assists, and Syracuse coming back from 6 down.